Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to try my hand at building a trellis for things like my Mexican sour gherkins and pole beans to climb. I just put up, or my husband and my son just put up a cattle panel trellis, and I've been looking online for a wooden trellis for those sour gherkins, and everything that I've been seeing that I like with more modern lines, instead of the traditional lattice look, with more modern lines, more square shapes. They tend to be very, very expensive. Even though the price of lumber has gone up, I thought I would try my hand at making one by myself, and that way I could get exactly what I wanted. So come on with me and let's see how this DIY trellis works out. So ideally it would have been best, or it would have been easier I should say, if my local hardware store cut these pieces of wood for me, but their saw was broken, so in typical DIY fashion, I'll do it myself. Okay, so that's cut. Now I'm going to try to assemble everything. I'm going to start off with using a all-purpose wood glue, and if that doesn't suffice, because it's pretty humid out today, if that doesn't suffice, then I will use some screws or nails. Okay. Okay guys, so one thing that I am changing is I'm not going to use the wood glue. I've learned about myself, if nothing else through gardening over the years, that patience is not my best skill set. However, gardening helps me to every year grow a little bit more in that area, but in general, not my favorite thing. Not my best personal skill or qualification. So I'm going to use some screws, and along those lines, I tried to put the first screw in without making a guide hole with the drill. I know better. So I'm going to go through, make guide holes, put the screws in, and then we'll be done. Okay, first things first, we want to put together the frame of our trellis. So I put down 2 6-foot pieces of wood and 2 3-foot pieces at the top and bottom. I'm going to secure those with wood decking screws, And I'm going to use a drill bit to make some guide holes so that I don't crack the wood like I did on the first one that I made. Live and learn. Next, we want to lay out our horizontal 3-foot pieces. I have them a little shorter on the bottom so that plant won't have as much trouble reaching up to grab. And then they get a little larger towards the top. That's just a little custom design that I thought I would add to mine. We're going to secure them the same way we did the frame. Lastly, you want to lay out your vertical pieces of wood and secure them the same way you've done all the other pieces. Okay guys, so I've got 2 of these 6-foot by 3-foot trellises, wooden trellises, for approximately $50 in lumber. I had these screws and I had the tools, and I have a few pieces of 2x4s that were given to me by a neighbor in order to give them like feet almost, so they can stand on their own without having to be screwed into the raised beds, because I did that last year with some store-bought trellises and that wasn't very stable at all. They kept falling over. You may have seen that in some of my previous videos. So I decided to make these, and at $25 a piece, I will say that I think that I definitely have a more stable and girthy construction compared to the $38 ones that I saw at Lowe's, or any of the more flimsy ones that I saw online, or ones that were maybe 6 feet in height but only 2 feet in width. So I'm happy with the custom design that I made, and it may not be perfect, but I'm very, very pleased with how it came out. It wasn't too difficult, and I hope you guys consider giving these a try at home if you have the tools and the lumber is not too expensive where you live. So give it a try. It wasn't too difficult at all. Just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of lumber. All right, take care. Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful spring/summer day, and we're going to be staining those trellises that we made a few days ago. It's been several days, but I'm going to show you why, because some things have been added to make our trellis a little bit more stable, and we're going to stain those pieces as well. So let's take a look at what we've worked on since we saw you last. So here are our 2 trellises that we made, and one addition that my next door neighbor made for me, thanks Dustin, appreciate that, are these almost like little legs that we're going to stand our trellis up against. So we have this 2x4 that he cut little notches out for me, and then because I just didn't know how to do that, and then we've got these smaller pieces that are half the length of the larger one, and he cut a notch in that, and that will fit right on top of this one like a little puzzle. Okay, so we have one of those for each of our trellises. So next we're going to stain these, let them dry, and then attach these little frames, if you will, to the back bottom of our trellis and put grow bags on the front. Everybody can get in on the fun on this one. Is it fun, Jade?
Yeah, a bit. Kinda.
It's not that hot. It's like 70 degrees. It's perfect out here. Kids today. Here are the finished products for our custom wooden trellises that we're going to have climbing crops on. And I think it turned out pretty good. They're not exact, and I didn't finish some of the edges down on the bottom, but they're going to be covered with grow bags. So, for example, this grow bag that I've sowed Mexican sour gherkins in will go right in front of it, like so. Alright, here is the final product. We have 2 custom trellises. We had to do some finagling because of the incline that our garden is grown on, and we were able to get those 15-gallon grow bags in front. We're growing some climbing green beans, some pole beans, some Mexican sour gherkins, and just some bush beans in front of the pole beans to maximize our space. Yeah, and I'm happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe it'll give you some inspiration for different projects you can do in your garden. Happy gardening.